I'm right here.
Hello, good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I'm your host, Don Mastro Mateo, joined by Mr. Michael Hudson. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you guys all had a phenomenal long weekend for President's Day, I believe. I don't know how you guys get after it on President's Day, but I hope you had a good time. Huddy is joining us back from the United States of America. There's snow on the ground here. So we're going to get into some trading talk. Last 2 weeks have been pretty wild in terms of gappers, in terms of 500%, 1,000%, I think maybe 2,000% runners. Um, been a lot of craziness. It looks like this morning we have 300% runners. They all look like oldies though that we've seen here in the last year or so. So once we
They look
get
a little
into
bit different.
those, yeah, maybe they don't look like the same type of ticker that I'm used to seeing in that little Benzinga Pro there. But as you guys filter in, make sure to leave a comment any questions you have towards the end of the show. We'd be glad to get to them. And make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. It is free. It is encouraged. It is appreciated. We are grateful. And it's all that we ask from you. So as the view count goes up, all that we ask is that the like count goes up as well. All right, so we got a few gappers this morning. Anything you want to lead off with, Huddy, before we get into the gappers? Any lessons from last week? Any words of wisdom? Anything you did
Yeah.
over the weekend that you really want to talk about?
Well, I hope everyone's coming to the market feeling refreshed. Last week was, I mean, if you were a trader, a fairly daunting week. Lots of volatility, lots of action. I was pretty much busy every day with 3 to 4 stocks, and then we ended it with a huge bang on SMCI. Picture perfect first red day, just about capped off the week in that kind of way. And it's very easy to kind of come into Friday and say, I'm exhausted. I don't really want to, show up for work. I've taken losses, I've taken wins. It's been up and down, whatever it is for that individual person. And to have missed
Steve.
SMCI, to have not watched it happen, to have not at least learned something from it. It doesn't matter whether you traded it or not. Just a really A+ scenario that most people should understand how that works. Uh, really culminated the week in a nice way where it's like, okay, now the job is done and I can rest for 3 days. And then, it's kind of the thing about hot markets. I remember very specifically 2020 and 2021, there was no days off. There was never a situation where it's like, oh, like I made a good enough money. It's Tuesday. I'm up 25,000. Tomorrow I'm taking the day off. Like, no, it was work, 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 work because the opportunity
Work,
is here
work, work,
now,
work, work.
and the opportunity is not going to last forever. It goes away. And that's the sad thing. So you really have to capitalize on the moments, on the huge events when they're here. And we just had this amazing Nvidia run. We've had amazing volatility in small cap, and then cap it off with an SMCI blow off top capitulation type of day. Wow, awesome. So
That's why I
going back,
love trading because, in my opinion, SMCI was just a little appetizer for the holo breakout. And that's why I love trading because you make it seem like everyone should have just been shorting $1,000 stock in small cap land, but there's a little piece for everyone. There's something for everyone. There's probably some gap and crappers that day too.
yeah, I mean, Hollow was pretty cool. So yeah, spent the weekend kind of just reviewing the trades, knowing, what's been making me money, what's not been making me money, and just kind of trying to fight out till the end of the month before really changing anything drastically as we're kind of going up in the profit curve, and
I think
the
it's
dollars
safe
are
to
starting to
say you
stack.
survived.
I definitely
You
survived.
survived the scary 2 week stretch.
I
There
survived.
was so many that they couldn't possibly all get you.
Yeah, well, when you're saying there's like three or four even today, like it's still, I feel like I'm not safe yet at all.
These are the three that are gonna get you, like ones that are like you don't expect at all. They're not Chinese low floats, like.
Well, they are low floats though. SPRC is
But
a nano
I'm looking
float.
at them and I know we've seen SPRC like 20 times on this show.
Yeah,
Oh my
SPRC is
gosh.
like, it's got to be like almost free money at this point.
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 11th time in the last 6 months.
Yeah. So yeah, but they are low floats, right? You have SPRCs like what from what I saw is 250,000 shares
Are we
outstanding
starting
or
there?
one
Let's
float.
start there then.
Yeah, let's just start.
Let's go to the here and there. So SPRC is our third leading gapper, but you know what? We'll start with the bronze medal here. SPRC. You probably have. We don't even need to go to the dilution chart. You probably have a notes on this for the last 12 times it's gapped up.
I think it's always had like a very small ATM outstanding that I don't know. At one point, I thought hit
What did you write down on your notes? The float the last time we talked about it, because I don't remember it being less than a million.
I don't remember it. I don't remember it being this low either, which is
Five
weird.
hundred thirty thousand.
I thought it grew a little bit last time we checked on it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think after all these failed runs that it would keep getting smaller. All right, well, talk to me
Enough
about
fun.
it.
I mean, stock has a history of gapping up and failing. It doesn't really have a huge history of dilution, but there has been like this active ATM that, it's just not a lot of shares, so it doesn't really concern me. Yeah, I'm getting 300,000 float, give or take, across, I'm just giving you the average of a number of different sources that I'm seeing. So I don't know the exact number, but I think safe to assume that it is a nano float under 1 mil. Um, in theory, like for my system, I like to stay away from nano floats, not because I think SPRC is going to spike and become like all of a sudden like the first time out of 12 times that it's gapped that it's going to like just squeeze everyone. I think that's highly unlikely. I just think if it does squeeze, you got to be careful because it can skip around. That's just thin supply type situations. This tape doesn't look too thin to me, so I'm probably not going to stay away from SPRC myself. But generally, I do want to stay away from nano floats, which we can start talking about meds in a second.
Yeah, when you compare this to like OCG or whatever that one was Friday, where like while we were live, it went from like 1 to 7 and then back down to 1. Doesn't feel that thin. It took, a decent amount of time for it to get to that 100% threshold, which I know seems like we're just overshadowing the fact that it's 100% gapper. But generally, what we've been seeing is like these stocks are just skipping to 500% up on the day. So nice steady uptrend this morning. Put a top in the mid tens. Pulling back now, trying to hold the high sixes. See where that one's at out of the gate. Again, not one that we are unfamiliar with. It looks like you probably could be making a salary just gapping and crapping this thing every single time, except one day it looks like you probably would have gotten bamboozled. Or man, it would have been close.
Correct.
10.05. Man, it would have been by like 20 cents. But yeah, no real interest for me. This is the type of stock I would be looking at if I was gun to my head had to short something on gappers, because there is so much built-in resistance on this chart. There is a lot of examples of what this stock does when it gets news, or in this case just gaps up, and this is a pretty big gap up for it, and it's kind of right into some key levels, 8 to 10 area, with the top being up in the 14 area, so which is 100% away from right here. Yeah, I'd feel pretty good if I was Huddy in his strategy here. No interest in long. The last type of daily chart I'd want to be longing on day one is this, where there is so many levels of resistance to that shorts can play off of, risk off of, be a little more patient with. Sometimes a stock does go on a crazy move following a daily chart like this, and it's an outlier move that because it bucks the trend and it goes against what the stock's done over and over and over again. But for me, not really a day one guy. We have plenty of stocks from the last 2 weeks to keep an eye on. I'll let this one marinate, see what it's doing around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But no real plans for me. But at least there's levels to play off of here versus these charts we've seen which don't trade any shares for like 2 years and then pop up on no news. Next one.
Okay. SPRC, we're going to look at meds. Meds is the other gapper that I saw this morning that was kind of big in this price range. $4 to what was 17 at the highs and now settling in the 12s, 11s as we're coming into market open. This is another nano float from at least the sources that I've checked, under 1 mil type territory. So, and also a chart that has a history of failures. So do I expect different? No. Will I be more willing to avoid meds? I think so, or at least let it spike first, I think is my general idea.
Their name is Trade Health.
Yeah, Trade Health. They're getting, I think the news is some kind of asset sale of sorts. So there's news.
What are the assets of a pharmaceutical retail company?
drugs
But is another product,
is an inventory asset.
I guess. So are they giving up? Are they quitting?
I
Or are they just saying that they're selling their product?
don't know.
Negative 2.4 months of cash. Like you said, I got 920K float. Um, Anything else in the dilution that strikes you?
Something that I saw earlier, a lot of these lower float stocks, just they're capped with how much they can dilute. So a lot of the times, if they are getting ready for dilution, they're going to try to get their, NVPHS up. So that might be, without me doing any research, that might be the goal here because, it's based off the 60-day close, and the 60-day close before this was like $6 to $8. Do they have that S1 in there? Is that the one with the S1 that
There's
was
one
like
in
in progress?
progress.
Yeah.
It's still in
So
progress.
maybe, again, I haven't done any look into it, but maybe the whole goal here is to get the stock price high enough so that they can dilute more when that S1 becomes active, or a number of scenarios. I don't imagine that a lot of these stocks that cap up 400% are doing it for any good reasons, especially like a lower float, like these nano floats. They're usually just bad companies.
Up 150% on the day. You said the levels as high as 17, gapping up from 4. Kind of testing pre-market lows here right now. This one did get going in after hours Friday, going into the weekend. Got as high as 11, which is what we're trying to test right now. So definitely some range on trade health here. Hasn't done much in a while since the middle to end of 2023. That looks like to be the time where they're talking about this merger in July of 2023. That kind of kicked off this move from 4 to 20. We've been unable to break those highs ever since. A couple gap and crap days here, topping out in the 14 area. So definitely a behavioral of on big gap up days. Stock does tend to fade off towards the lows in those instances. But the flow is quite small. Let's go back a little further. Nothing too relevant there. Definitely going to be some range here for sure out of the gate. Not all that interesting to me, but again, like these gappers are more comfortable if I, again, was forced to short day one stuff, like shorting these ones today versus like a lot of the recent Chinese low float scams. I'd feel more comfortable today. At least there are levels to play off of. At least I should expect there to be some bag holders and some resistance in this $14 to $20 area, which the stock is already looking to have rejected. So no play for me. Definitely not to the long side. I'm kind of interested in the first day this week when we don't have a couple 100% runners. How fast does the market kind of just slow down? My guess was this morning in the shower, I bet that there'd be 100% runner, but we have 3, so a little over the number there. But for me, towards the tail end of this momentum is when I'd be much happier to be a Huddy and less happy to be a long FOMO chaser.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not fun to be a Huddy when you have 5 or 6 stocks that you have to kind of put full port into and risk a large dollar amount. But the data is the data, and really haven't gotten burned from it yet, but have been responsible in my sizing, have been consistent in my sizing, and it takes a lot of responsibility to be consistent in this type of market. A lot of discipline, actually, to not like play favorites or anything like that. So yeah, it's been not fun, but it's been good for me. And so that's why I continue to do it, because although my heart rate goes up a lot, it's also making me some decent, consistent money. So as long as my stats are doing better, trading one strategy and only one strategy relative to the other ones that I've been trading, really good. And I'll continue to be doing like this kind of wallet pad type of trades with smaller size. And then, when the unicorns come around for me, that's when I like to actually make good money in a day, which is like your SMCIs, your hollow multi-day breakouts, like the real big picture chart patterns.
All right. Oh, we just had another gapper join the 100% list.
No.
And it's going to be a close one for you. 92 cents right now. 168% up on the day. Let's go there real quick because it's breaking news. MNPR, Monopar
MNPR.
Therapeutics, We had this one just a few months ago. 6.53 million float biotech company. Did they just release news? An hour ago, they received clearance to proceed with first in-human phase 1 trial of novel radiopharmaceutical MNPR 101ZR in advanced cancers. That's kind of fun. I haven't read a PR in like 3 weeks. Because normally it's just there's no news. All right, really quickly here. Overall risk of dilution is low. Cash need is medium. They have 7.4 months of cash left. They are a relatively smaller float at 6.53, but a cheap stock, gapping up right now from 35 cents. And they are officially over $1 and hit the 200% mark. They are taking first place very quickly right now. They have an ATM with 0 left, 0 left, 0 left, 0 left. All right, go to the chart. 72 cents. I think you probably traded this one for a gap and crap in November, when those cheapies were gapping a little more frequently. But that level was 72. You got some tops in here at like $1 to $1.10. On light volume, looks like we're already doing more than that right now. Big drop off in the beginning of 2023 from $3 down to 150, and we've really been unable to get back into that area and actually hold. All right, kind of a 8 o'clock spiker, so a little late to the party, but starting to make its moves right now. What shall Huddy say?
I give it like a 50-50 rating of whether it's going to really do anything or not. It's going to take the easy bet here and call it a
Okay.
coin flip, because on one hand, like if everyone's going to chase this into market open up 200%, I don't think it's going to end well. And that's just kind of how I feel. Like the stronger this thing opens, the more people are going to get bagged, because people really shouldn't be chasing stocks up 200%. Kind of already narrated it. Like the gappers today don't feel like the same gappers as previous days. You're not really in that Chinese scam type of territory anymore. So that's why I give it like the 50-50. Like maybe this news is meaningful. I'm not here to tell you which news is meaningful or not. I don't know. But I do know that if this, has an overwhelming amount of volume at the highs, you're probably going to have, a big sell the open event. So that's how I feel about it. And we'll see what it looks like in 25 minutes. Long time for market open.
Yeah, we do have 26 minutes left. We'll see if it can continue the tear that it's on. This would be one that I'd really prefer to hold up and go higher, just because the price range is kind of cute. Haven't seen a lot of this cheapies moving right now. It's normally $1 to $10, not 40 cents to $1.
This would be one where if like I shorted it, I'd love for it to end at 40 cents. Just me personally.
Personally, for you,
If I did do that.
I'd wish it would be going to 140
Okay. And then 40 cents?
in like a day or two.
That's not gonna help me much.
Sorry, there's got to be plays for me, which means something's got to hold up.
Bro, you just had hollow. You just told you, creme de la creme.
It was nice, but you have one every day, so I need one every day.
That's not how it works.
It is how it
All right.
works. Next one on
Next
the
one.
list
Another
is
cheapie.
AGRI, one that we have
Agriforce.
definitely seen before.
Yeah. I have some ideas with this one that could make it super cute. But it's at the risk of missing what I think is likely a fade. This stock, since I've known it, has a history of just gapping up and failing, has a history of doing reverse splits, has a history of just not doing great things for shareholders, and they're dilutive. The last time that they gapped up back in December or November near Thanksgiving, it looks like it was a complete liquidity hunt right around this warrant level of 260, and I think those have been repriced in some way or fashion down to 90 cents, which is where they're all hanging now. So I think like one gut says like it's probably going to fail no matter what it does, and then the other gut says they might come for their warrants first and then let it fail. So I think, for me, it's like either I take a patience approach and I let it, go up and test 90 cents to $1, see how that does. And if it starts to break down from there, probably have a better risk reward short on my hands, or I could take, pretty much the openings, drive, probably mistime it, but, and sit through something scary and with wide risk. And then by the time it does like, kind of do its thing, I might be in a profitable situation. Those are the two ways I'd go about it, but no buts.
Yeah, I'll let you handle that one. That's more your speed. Yeah, 66 cents, not the most lucrative stock so far. Is up 200% though this morning. Got going yesterday or Friday after hours. I do remember that day. I remember Kellogg was trading it pretty actively, I feel like, and there was like 258 warrants or something right below where it topped out at. It traded there for like 5 minutes and then dumped. So yeah, no interest there long from me. The only real history we have is of failure. So I'd like to personally avoid that failure if it is going to do it. And if it holds up, maybe there's a play down the road, but not today for me. All
Not for
right.
Dominic.
Huh?
Not for Dominic.
Not for Dominic. Let's see. Someone asked, what is the minimum gap percentage for Huddy in shorting pop and gap and crap strategy?
That's not something I'm going to answer on YouTube.
That's not something as an answer on YouTube. Throne says massive market for gap crap shorts type last week. Yeah, I feel like the last 2 weeks, there's definitely been a lot of activity in the pre-market, in the after hours, a lot of manipulation, a lot of big runners. Like I said, it's not uncommon right now to see multiple 100% gappers, a couple 500% gappers, and sometimes those stocks making 1,000% moves later in the day. How you choose to play those stocks is completely up to you. For me, I'd take a much more conservative approach, sit back, wait for any development on those in the coming days. Try to let them live their best lives on day one, because that's where I know I have no edge trading them long and for the most part short as well. So it's awesome to see volatility, momentum in the market. You just really have to understand who that benefits and what strategies they're playing versus just trying to correlate the fact that stuff is moving with you should be making more money. If it's not in your wheelhouse, if it's not something you've practiced and prepared for, then in reality it probably means you're just going to lose more money. Someone asks, SYRAFGDB, quiet PR, not a lot of volume yet.
A lot of acronyms.
Huh? I know.
There's a lot of like letters.
SYRA already had its first green day, which was this day here, where it had a red day after a big move up and then had a green day. So to me, first green day, it has come and has gone. Now we're just like even more further backside. Sure, it could bounce, but I don't necessarily think there's a whole lot of players here. And so I'd be less interested in this one. I'd rather catch it when it's still doing a little bit increased volume. I believe that was the day with Holo or MLGO or HKIT. This one kind of was on the heels of those runners when those ones were trying to bounce. So that one made more sense. But no, not a first green day for me, because when you say the word first green day, it already happened. Bren Trade says, how do I get back in the Discord if I'm banned? I would talk to support. I'd like to know how you got banned if that's the case. Talk to support, and they'll see what they can do for you.
I've never seen someone get banned.
Wayne says 113 viewers, 33 likes. Come on. It is a little discouraging, Wayne. I'll be honest with you. Up to 39 right now. Would prefer that number closer to 50. We're out here every morning trying to help you guys out, get prepared for market open, talk through the news and the fundamentals of these gappers, and go through the daily charts. Spend 30 minutes with you every morning for free. All that we ask is for a little thumbs up button. Help the YouTube algorithm. Show some appreciation. Precipitation. Who's ready for the boot camp? Anyone going to the boot camp in the chat right now? It's coming up in like 2 weeks. Huddy said he just finished his presentation, so he's pretty pumped there.
It's going to be jam-packed.
Jam-packed.
It's going to answer all your questions about the gappers that I'm shorting.
Ian says, Dom, why ain't you rocking the Rolly like Hud? Are you wearing a Rolly?
Me right now? Yeah. I'm wearing a Rolly.
Oh. Well, I don't know why they're asking, because right now I'm rocking the dual watches.
Oh.
Oh, because I was like, I want to feel like a player and I want to get my steps counted.
Yeah. I don't take off the Rolly in fear of losing it.
I take it off and there's only one place I'll put it.
Where's that?
in a drawer.
Nice.
But if you're, you gotta find the drawer. Max says, "Let's go boot camp." Gustavo says, "Yes, looking forward to it." I'm really excited. Never been to New York City. I'm excited for a ramen lunch with Huddy, and excited for a couple
Yeah.
slices of $1 pizza.
And Lady Liberty. Don't forget about
Lady
her.
Liberty.
She's hot.
Any other tickers? Any other questions you guys have? We do have a few more minutes. Let's see if
We
anything
do
else
have 3 minutes.
anything has popped up on the scanner.
What's popping?
There's SISI, BFRI. Let's see if there's any interest on any of these.
SISI was up a lot at one point.
Yeah, wow.
That's Shineko. That feels more like Chinese low float stuff.
Yeah, there you go. What was the other one? BRFI? Sounds like Bullfrog.
It's a wannabe Bullfrog.
BioFrontera?
Yeah.
Nothing really all that interesting there, to be honest. Nothing really all that interesting for me at all here. Why did Kyle say nice gap up on OCGN? Oh, wow. Nice little multi-day runner here. Little multi-month break at over 72 cents. As high as 150s this morning. Looks like something Kyle would be long and not tell anybody. Nice little move there. Let me see what the news was that got this going. 6 days ago, they're hosting a clinical showcase in New York City on Wednesday, February 21st. They're going to miss us. Thought we'd have a front row seat to the clinical showcase. Big float there. I feel like that's an oldie. When did we see that one before?
There's like OCGN, there's OPGN. There's so many that are similar.
It must have been this move back in 21 from like 2 to 18. But this is the first time it's really bouncing in a couple of years. Volume's really not all that great here. A decent day on Friday where we did 20 million, but 20 million for a $80 to $90 stock is still not quite in that dollar volume threshold I really like. But definitely just wanted to keep an eye on if this day continues. We is at a 34% gap, so I don't think it quite fits overextended gap up, and I don't think it's overextended just yet.
Getting there.
Getting there. That's what we like. We like daily charts with some movement, with a little bit of increased volume, increased range. Looking for those nice, safe, fun plays versus those stocks that just go from 4 to 40 in 5 minutes.
Those are less fun.
Less fun. TJS, Huddy, do you have lessons about your shorting strategy in Clover? It's basically all Huddy has done in all of his webinars for the last 3 or 4 months. So you can kind of see that evolution of where the idea came from, how he is using it in the market, and how he trades on a day-to-day basis, and where all of his stats are. He has all that information in all the webinars and all the video lessons he does with Clover.
I ain't hiding it from the Clovers.
He's not hiding it, but for 57 likes, he's not going to give away everything.
Correct.
Someone asked multi-day breakout on SOUN. I hate this ticker. I hate that it's back alive. I hated it back when it was running in early 2023. It got a big key level, $5 a share, I think. I'm probably going to ignore it down here. AI, what's that sector doing? Doing nothing, really. What did this have news with last week? There was some reason it popped back on radar.
I think people found out that NVIDIA got shares in like 2017.
Okay.
Through an offering.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like it's kind of trying to come up and test that 430 area. Not really for me. This is one I'll let kind of go. It's a pretty big float, I believe. What is it? 169 mil for a $4 stock. Not my speed necessarily. I honestly could just be biased because the stock really bothered me last year. But it's going to be a slower mover, not one that you're just going to see be very volatile. That gap from the 2s up into the $4 area was about the biggest one you're going to see out of a stock like this, barring the very first move on it back in early 2023. But if there was something to set up near that $5 level and there was a little more heat around it and the increased volume, I would probably have to pay attention to it. I do have it on a list somewhere, but not this multi-day breakout, just not for me, right into all this resistance up here at 5. I'd rather be playing because it's such a slow moving stock. I don't think the risk reward gets that much worse. I don't need to be in early on this if it does have a big breakout through 5. So I will avoid that one right now, but it is something I'm keeping an eye on. If it does gain a little bit of traction. What is NVIDIA doing?
Probably breaking down.
Yeah, probably not a great time for SoundHound. All right, well, that all of a sudden is the hour. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for those last minute thumbs up, hitting the like button. Really, really appreciate it. Like I said, boot camp in 2 weeks. You can still get a ticket if you live around the area. I found out last minute that you're going to be in New York City. Come and join us, clovertrading.io, for more information on that. It is Tuesday, so going to be a shortened week, but we do have multiple webinars for you. Huddy is frozen right now, but I have a webinar today at 11. I believe Huddy and Kyle have a market open webinar on Thursday. So if you want access to that, you can get in the Clover room and access to everything we have to offer for $7. 7-day, $7 trial, less than a cup of coffee a day. Dom? What?
I bought a coffee yesterday, and I was like, "Damn, that's the cost of a trial."
You bought an expensive coffee, yeah. That's the cost of the trial. If you want access, if you want to see what we're about, grill us with questions all day long. Come join us 7 days for $7. Get access to live webinars. Get access to video lessons that we're posting weekly. Watch list, trade alerts, the room, all that good stuff. You can get access to it for $7, and then make your decision if you want to keep it or not. But we will see you guys tomorrow morning for live trading right here on the YouTube channel, 9:15 a.m. Write it down on your pieces of paper. Write it down on a sticky note. Put it in your calendars. 9:15 a.m., so 30 minutes after normal start time. Remember, this is a shortened week. Kyle will be here, and we'll do some live trading for you guys, so bring some good questions. And I will see all you Clovers over in the room right now. Going to trade the open, get ready for my webinar. And so please bring some questions for that as well. We'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful, safe Tuesday.